Okay, right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, folks, welcome back to another lesson by myself, Mr. Imran Iqbal. Okay, we are on Imran Iqbal One-to-One Tutor on YouTube, and also you can find us on our website, one-to-one-tutor.co.uk, or you can just contact us using the phone. Okay, right. Here we go. We're looking at Maths Watch CD work. We're looking at grade C, clip 105. Looking at solving equations. So today we're going to be looking at simple two-step equations, looking at the brackets as well, looking at double-sided, looking also at the fractional ones. So without any further delay, let's get started with this particular question. I'm doing today by student Hassan. Okay, Hassan, question number 1. See the picture there? No calculator. I don't know how you're supposed to use calculator things anyway, in algebra questions. That's like a bit of a no-brainer for me. Right, okay, we're going to work out the value of x. Now, it says solve 2x minus 3 equals 17. Okay, this is our linear equation with 2 steps in it. And as I've always said, if you look in the previous videos, we have to look at the x, start at the x. And the x is being multiplied by 2. We call this our first. Come on, Mr. Hassan, can you repeat it? You should know this stuff by now. First action, and this minus 3 is called the second action. Give me a bit more kind of energy, yes? Less letharginess, yeah? Now, so once we've identified the actions, we have the first thing that's been done to the x and the second thing that's been done. We have to now solve moving the items in reverse order. Okay, here we go. So the last thing to be done was the minus 3. So we move that first. Opposite of minus 3 is? Okay, we have 20. Right, now we move the second item over. We'll get rid of that now from there. And that one. So what we got left over is 2x is equal to 20. That's what's left over. So what do we have to move now, Hassan?
Now you need to
move the time by 2.
And then
okay, opposite time by 2 is
divided by 2.
Divided by 2. So x is equal to
2 is 10.
10.
Yeah.
Okay, that question is done. Right, let's have a look at question number 3, Hassan. Right, so when do we start the question? Start at x. What do we do first? We identify the actions. So what are the actions?
The action is going to be x is
time by 5,
yeah.
which is called the
first
action, and then
the minus 7 is going to be second action.
Second action. Now, so we've started at the x. We've identified the first and second action, and now we're going to have to solve it by moving which one first? Always move the
x first.
Always move the last action first. Okay, so we move the minus 7 first. So the opposite of minus 7 is?
After minus 7 is plus 7.
Plus 7. So 33 add 7 is? 40. So that's done now. So minus 7 has gone over, so we move now the first action last. Opposite time by 5 now is?
Divided.
So let's just write it down first, 5x. So opposite time by 5 is?
Divided by 5.
Divided by 5.
Yeah.
So we have now 40 divided by 5. So x is equal to?
8.
X is equal to 8. That's the first 2 transgression linear ones. And these ones which I missed out are the same. So I'm just going to move the page up a bit. Okay, you're going to have to throw out some of those other questions which are similar. Okay, let's have a look at now the bracket questions. Let's see how we go with those. Okay. Right. So, question number 7. We have solved 2x plus 3 is equal to 8.
Yeah.
So what do? We start at the x. We identify the actions. So x is first of all being added by
3.
So that's the first action. And all of that has been multiplied by
2.
Which is called the second action. That's the second thing done to the x. Now when we're going to solve these equations, which action do we move first?
The last one.
The last action first. Opposite time by 2 is?
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have left over. Once the multiply by 2 goes, the brackets go as well. Because the multiply by 2 is holding everything together with the brackets. So now the brackets are no longer necessary. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now, what's the last thing we're going to move now?
The plus 3.
Plus 3. Plus 3 comes over here, becomes a minus 3. So that will give us an answer of 1. Okay. Right, done. Right. Are you happy with that question, Hassan?
Yeah.
So in this question we have 2 steps. Let's have a look at a question that has 3 steps. So let's have a look at solving question number 10. Okay. And also number 9, 8 is also similar as well. Let's try number 8. So, we start our equation, Hassan, at
X.
if you have to solve this question here, 2 bracket 3x minus 4 equals 22. This is again still a linear equation. We have to solve that. So we start with x. X is being timed by
3.
that's called the
First.
action. Then it's been minus by 4, that's called the
Second action.
second action. And then it's been timed by 2, which is called the
Third action.
third action. Now, we got first, second, third action. Which action do we move first?
Third one, I think.
Third one not third one you think, third one you know, not you think.
Oh, yeah, third one.
Okay, so opposite time by 2 is
Minus 2.
divided by 2.
Divided by 2.
Allahu Akbar. Okay. Right, we have 22 divided by 2, that will give us an answer of
11.
11. So we move the third action first, which is time by 2. Now we're going to solve by doing reverse order. So that's the first thing that was done, second thing that was done, third thing that was done. When we solve, we start at the end. We start moving the third action first, then the second action, and then the first. So the next action to move is the minus 4. So we grab the minus 4. What the minus 4 becomes a?
Add 4.
Pardon me. I'm already thinking about the answer. Excuse me please, thank you. So that's plus 4. So 11 add 4 will give us 15. So we have 3x is equal to 15. So I was thinking about 15 already in my head there. I thought that was 5. Okay, next we have time by 3.
It's going to be divided.
Time by 3, we move the time by 3 over.
It's going to be divided by 3.
Divided by 3. So we can say, I'm just running out of bit of space here. X is equal to 5. So in this question here we had 3 steps, 2 steps, sorry, in this one we had 3 steps. Okay, these ones are here for us to do. Okay, right, let's move on to the next type of question on this page. Okay. Copy that out?
Nice.
The next type of question. Okay, here we go. Right, question number 11. Now what we have here again is still a linear equation. We've got x's on both sides. So the rule for this is as follows. Okay. Not here. Right, we have solved 2x plus 7 equals x plus 11. What do we start the question, Hassan?
At the x.
At the x. You always start at the smaller x value and you move the smaller x value towards the larger x value. If you move the x's to the left hand side, you must move the numbers to the right hand side. Okay. So we have here now 2x, which is already here, and then minus an x, because opposite of plus x is minus x. We have here plus 11, and then opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. So 2x minus x will just give you x. 11 take away 7 will give you 4. Alright, let's look at this one here now. Question number 13. So, we have x's on both sides. The both parts are linear. We must get the x's onto one side. So we always start with the smaller x value, the smaller p or n, whatever it is. We move this 2x towards the bigger, larger one. And then we have to move the number in the opposite direction. So we now have on this side 5x plus 2x becomes
Plus 2x.
Minus 2x.
Minus 2x.
We already have a plus 1. And then the opposite of minus 20 becomes plus 20. 20 add 1 is 21. So 5x minus 2x is
5x minus 2x is 3x.
3x. Now, we need to work out the value of x. Okay, so the opposite of time by 3.
Divided by 3. And it would be 7.
So 7 equals x, or x equals 7, but I like to keep all my x's consistently on the same side. So that one done. So this is all question that you already done before for you, Mr. This is for you as revision. Okay? Right, so let's move on. So we've had a look at two-step equation and then with brackets. Now we're looking at double-sided equations. Okay, we're going to move on to the next type of question on this paper. Just copy that down.
Alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we'll move on to the side now. Okay, right, here we go. Question number 17. Solve. Now they've added brackets into it as well. Okay, they've added brackets into it as well. All we need to do now, we've got x's on both sides. This x is inside a bracket. We need to release it from the brackets. So what we do first, we have to multiply out the brackets. So 2 times by x will give us 2x. And then 2 times by plus it will give us plus 6. Then we have here x add 9. Now if you look at this, so now the question has been transformed from a question involving brackets to one without brackets. So this is similar to the question that we've just done. So we start at the smaller x value and we move it towards the larger one and we move the numbers onto the other side. Okay. So now we have 2x was plus x becomes minus x. And the plus 6 becomes minus 6.
Yeah.
So we have 2x take away x, that will give you simply x. And 9 take away 6 will give us, that one's done. Okay, whether they give you in the question a single bracket on one side or they give you on the double bracket on side, it doesn't make any difference in that sense. Right, let's just have a go at question number 20. How many questions do you have there, Hassan, on that page? 32. Okay, so let's have a question number 20 now. Question number 20, here we go. So we have 4 brackets 2y plus 1 equals 2 brackets 12 minus y. So we need to, before we start moving the y's around, we must multiply the brackets to release the y's from the bracket. So 4 times by 2y Hassan gives us 8y. 4 times by plus 1 gives us
plus 4.
2 times by 12 gives us
24.
Okay. And 2 times by minus y gives us
minus 2y.
minus 2y. So we have now multiplied out the brackets on both sides. We have released the numbers from the brackets. Here we go. So this question has now become one of these. So what looks a bit complicated is actually not a bit complicated at all. We just have to multiply the brackets and we release the question. We got a normal two-sided equation. Now, when we look at the y values here, Hassan, we have 8y and minus 2y. Which one of those is the smaller one?
It's going to be
minus 2y. We move that towards a larger one. We move the plus 4 in the opposite direction. So on this side here we now have 8y. The minus 2y comes over, becomes a plus 2y. We already have 24. The plus 4 comes over, this side becomes a minus 4. 8y add 2y will give us 10y. 24 minus 4 will give us
20.
20.
Yeah.
Now we're running out of space here. I'm just going to copy this part up over here. So 10y is equal to 20. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now what do we say?
No.
We're saying that y is being multiplied by
10, and then the opposite of times is divided, and then 10 divided by 20 will be 2.
so 20 divided by 10
Yeah.
is 2.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. Ooh, here comes the lovely fractions. Let's move on. Okay, when students see fractions in solving equations, they freak out and they try to run for the exit. Okay, fractions, don't freak out. They're nice and straightforward things to deal with. You just have to do the same technique. Start with the x, read the equation. So let's have a look at this question. Question number 22. We start with the x. X has been what? It has been divided by.
Divided by 2.
And opposite divide by 2 is?
Times by 2.
Times by 2. So, what looks a bit uncomfortable to look at is something nice and simply as x equals 10. Okay. Right, next question. Question number 24. Okay, have you got everything up here? Yeah? Good. Okay, next one, question number 24. Now we've got 2x divided by 3. So Hassan, let's look at this. So we start at the x. We see what's been done to the x. X is first of all has been timed by 2. And then divided by?
Divided by 3.
Okay. So we're going to call this one the first action, and dividing by 3 is called the second action. So the last thing to be done is divide by 3. So the opposite of divide by 3 is?
It's going to be times by 3.
Times by 3.
Yeah.
Okay, now, we can do this question in the traditional way. Opposite divide by 3 is times by 3, and work that, then move the time by 2. I want to show you a different method today. It's called cross multiplying. So rather than doing 2 separate steps, we're doing 1 step. So the opposite divide by 3, the 3 from the bottom goes to the top of the side.
Yeah.
And the 2 from the top goes to the bottom. So we now have x is equal to 4 times by 3, opposite times by 2 is divide by 2. So the bottom part of the fraction comes to the top, and the top part of the fraction comes to the
bottom.
So what was division is now times, and what was original times is now. There we go. That's called cross multiplying. Okay, so let's work this out now. So we have x equals 4 times by 3 divided by 2, which is 12 divided by 2, which is equal to 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question is similar to that one. We'll try that in a bit. This question is similar to this one. We'll try that in a bit. Okay, now, question number 26. So was that all in there? That one question?
Yeah, but
Sure.
it's a bit, it's going
I
to
know.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we can move it. Are we happy with that? Hassan, copy that down?
Yeah, I'll copy that.
Alright, let's move it up a bit so we don't fall off the bottom of the board. Okay, bismillah. Right, okay, here we go. Alright, 26. Solve x minus 2 divided by 3 equals 1. Whether they make you just now, we got minus involved on the top now, Hassan. It's not multiplying anymore, it's minus now. Then we got plus and a multiplier here. Or we got 2 sets of them, it doesn't make any difference. We do the technique exactly the same. Let's look at the original technique. The original technique says we start at the x, what we're trying to make the subject, solving it. We look at the first action and then the second action. First action is minus 2. The second action is
plus 2? No,
divide by 3. So what we have to do first of all is move the last action first. Opposite divide by 3 is?
Times by 3.
So we now have over here, I'm sorry, I'm going to space come down here. I'm just right sideways. So we now have x minus 2 is equal to?
X minus 2 is equal to
3. Yeah? And then we move the minus 2 over. becomes a,
plus 2.
so x is equal to,
X is equal to
x is equal to 5. 5. Right, question number 28 now. We have 2x plus 1 over 4. We start at the x again. We look what's been done to the x. We identify the actions.
Yeah.
So time by 2 is called the
Divide by 2.
first action.
It's second action.
Okay, plus 1 is called the
First
second action.
Second action.
Okay, second action. So x has been timed by 2 first action, then added by 1 is second action, and then last action is divide by 4 is called the third action. So we identify the actions first of all. Once we know what was done first, second, third, we can then confidently move the last action first, the third action first, then the second action, then the first action, and until we have finished the question. So, move the last action first. Opposite divide by 3 is time by, opposite divide by 4 is time by 4. That's just the third action. So I'm going to write this down again over here on the side. So we have 2x plus 1
2x plus 1
equals 8. Right. So you move the third action, now we have to move the second action, which is plus 1. Opposite of plus 1 is? Okay, now we're going to move the first action last. So opposite time by 1 is? Sorry, the time by 2 is?
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2. So 7 divided by 2 is?
7 divided by 2 is 3 remainder 1 over 2.
Yeah, or 3.5. Okay, let's do this last question over here. I think one more after that. Question number 30. Okay, question number 30 over here. So question number 30, we have a fraction here and a non-fraction. You have x on this side, x on that side. So the technique is the same. We start at x. We have x as being, well, plus by 2, because we've got x's on both sides. If you start at this x, then that x will be left out. Yeah. So for this question here, first of all, what we need to do is get rid of the divide by 3. Okay, that divide by 3 is in the way, because when the divide by 3 is gone, it's nice normal linear equation. So we grab this divide by 3 first of all. And opposite divide by 3 is time by 3. So x plus 2 is left on the left hand side. X plus 2 is left here. 3 is gone over there, becomes a 3 times by x plus 4. Okay, so the question has been transformed. The denominator from this fraction opposite dividing has become times. So now we don't have no more fraction if the fraction is gone. So now what we can do, we can multiply out this bracket and work it out. So we have 3 times by x is, multiply out the bracket first of all, and 3
by x is 3x.
And then 3 times by plus 4 is?
Plus 12.
Plus 12. Okay. So what we do now, we move the smaller x item towards the larger x item. So this x here has to go that way, and the plus 12 has to go. So the numbers on one side, the letters on one side. So on the left hand side now we have 2x. Oh, hang on a second. Sorry, 2 plus 12 becomes.
2 plus 12 becomes.
No. Opposite of plus 12 is. We're not doing 2 plus 12. So opposite plus 12 is minus 12.
Yeah.
And the 3x is already there. And move the plus x to the other side becomes a
minus x.
So 2 take by 12 will give us 2 take by 12 will give us
2 take by 12.
the answer on the board minus 10. And you have 3x, and then we take away x, and that will give us
3x take by x, 2x.
Okay, now what we need to do now, we need to work out the value of x, the last step now. I think we're going to come out of the video soon. So I'm going to write that down here. Now, opposite of time by 2 is?
Divided by 2.
So we have x is equal to minus 10 divided by 2. And that gives us an answer of minus 5. Okay. Question number 31. Let's have a look at it more at the bottom. Okay, right. One or two more questions to do, and that's the end of this particular clip. The question that we just done, Hassan, was it this one?
Yeah.
Look, question. That one.
Where are we on that one?
Well, that one, just now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, this question is similar to that one. Let's look at this one here. Okay, here we go. So here we have again, if you look at if you ignore the divide by 5 here and the divide by 2 here, what we have is just normal linear equation double-sided.
Yeah.
So the extra additional part is the divide by 5 and the divide by 2, the two denominators. Now, as we looked at the previous question, if you want to remove the denominators, what do? We grab the denominators and then opposite of divide by 5, this side is to
times divide 5
that side. Okay, excellent. Now, let's grab a hold of the divide by 2 on this side. Opposite divide by 2 on this side is then going to be also times by 2 on that side. So let's just rewrite that again more neatly. So we have 2 brackets 4x plus 3 is equal to 2x minus 1
and then 5.
Whether we write the 2 at the front or we write the 5 at the end, it has the same effect in terms of it being a multiplier. So let's multiply out these brackets to release the x's from inside the bracket. So the fraction of now in one easy cross multiply step, we got rid of the fractional parts and we got now brackets times by the multiply outside on both sides. So divide by 2 became times by 2 and the divide by 5 became times by 5. So let's multiply it out. So 2 times by 4x is? 2 times by plus 3 is?
Plus 6.
And we have 5 times by 2x is?
10x.
And 5 times by minus 1 is?
Minus 5.
Minus 5. Okay, so when we're dealing with double-sided linear equations, we start with the smaller x value and we move that towards the larger x value. So this is the small one, 8x. Has to go towards the larger one there, which is 10x. If we move the x's to the right, we must then move the numbers to the left. Here's the number, minus 5 must come to the left. So let's rewrite down what we've got now. Okay, here we go. So now on this side here we have plus 6 and the minus 5 has joined the opposite of minus 5 becomes plus 5. So plus 6 plus 5 will give us a total of plus 11 is equal to. Now what do we have on this side? What we have on this side now is 10x on this side. 10x. And then we have it's going to be joined by plus 8x, which becomes a, because when we change side, we change sign. So 10x take away 8x will give us a total of 2x. So 2x equals 11. Students get a bit lost when we get to here. They think 2x equals 11. Actually, let's just copy that up over here somewhere. 2x is equal to 11. So 2x is equal to plus 11. So now opposite of multiply by 2 is divide by 2. So we're looking at the x, we have to make x the subject, solve it. So x has been times by 2, opposite times by 2 is divide by 2. Right. Now folks, don't worry when you're doing this. 11 divided by 2, I know it doesn't go exactly, but it will give us a remainder. 11 divided by 2 is 5, remainder 1. That as an answer in mathematics is unacceptable. Okay, you cannot give that an answer to the examiner. So you can say 11 divided by 2 is 5 and, okay, so 11 divided by 2 is 5 and 1 is the remainder. We're dividing by 2 is 5.5.
Okay.
And that will be the answer. It's 5.5. Okay folks, that's the end of this clip number. This is clip number 10. Hassan? Clip number 105. Clip number 105, grade C, Maths for CD. Thank you folks for joining us on this videos, and hopefully you can have a go at questions that we missed out, and the answers are also available on the Maths for CD they get from school. So please try to do the questions for homework. If you like the videos, please click the like and subscribe and pass the links on to your friends and family members so they can benefit as well. Okay, thank you very much. Please join us again in the next video. Okay.